What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Friday night's Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. Just gonna do it last night. We're doing Friday night, and we already got some people already waiting patiently. So let's make sure we got good sound. It looks like on my end we got good sound. We got good video, and we got Honey. We got Steve, Big Mountain Customs, Michael, Stanton. We got all you guys in the house. And a bunch of other ones over here on Facebook and over on. That's on YouTube. On Facebook, we got Diana. What's going on, Diana? We got Joshua, Jeff. We got a few guys over there. Like most of you guys know on Dennis Blaze, what most of you guys on Facebook know, the YouTube feed is typically more stable than Facebook. It's a little bit more higher quality, but you can watch it on either one. You're not going to miss a thing. And let's see what we got going on. Oh, we got Patricia just came in. Michael, London Pen Company, Chaotic Concepts Airbrush. A lot of the down and dirty tricksters in the house tonight. A lot of members. Hope you guys are getting the messages I do in the community page. And if you guys are going to follow along, I sent this image out earlier for all the members of this. And I want to give a big shout out to all these guys. Again, the new members, as everyone who's joined up now, we are growing steadily. So thank you all for this continued support. It is much appreciated. It's just going to make the channel bigger and better, and I can get more stuff. And of course, we have our lovely brands and products we use. Obviously, Fisheye Filter, Iwata, Cratex Colors, FBS, on my Visionaire stand, Through Coast Airbrush. So we got all the goodies going on, and we're gonna keep it pretty simple tonight. It's a Labor Day weekend. We'll probably do it for the full 2 hours. It might cut a little short. We'll see if I make it through it or not. One never knows. Let me show you what I'm doing tonight. We are doing this little guy right here. So, sketch up of an eagle I did earlier today, actually. Earlier yesterday. And just kept it really simple. I'm going to do a total freehand style mix with a little bit, I shouldn't say total freehand because the purists will get all Mostly freehand work with some paper cutting and some blue stencils, some racing, things like that. That's what we got going on tonight. I'm going to keep it real simple in just a monochromatic black and gray. For the colors, I am only going to really use the Cratex Black Candy mixed into 40/50, which is just a 1-to-1 mix. I put about 5 to 10% illustration black in it just to kill that purplish tone a little bit and to get a little bit more black. I did also mix up some opaque white. I may or may not use it. I may use it for some highlighting at the end, but I want to also cover, and I've covered it before, other erasing and eradication techniques for bringing back highlights and things like that. So, with all that being said, let's get this shindig started. Let me just double check. Any major questions, concerns, anything like that? What's going on? We got Adam Torno, Gary Shees, what's going on? Fingsy, Darren Jobber, we got all you guys in the house. My mom is over on Facebook. Hi, Mom. Love ya. All right, let's get this thing going. Gonna drop that off, get rid of my mug, and now you got 3 of the same image. Okay, so what I want to cover, and I've covered it on a bunch of other videos before, this is the tried and true traditional methods of painting. So for a paper sketch, how to take that paper sketch, refine it a little bit, and then transfer that onto your substrate. Doesn't matter doesn't matter if it's a canvas, if it's a metal plate like this, a motorcycle gas tank, a wall mural. This is the kind of traditional way to do it. Make a paper pattern and transfer it. If I was on a big wall mural, I'd probably use a projector, or I would use a grid method, and I would like grid the wall and grid the picture. That's a whole different traditional drawing method. But for illustration on a motorcycle or car, I usually print it on paper or a nice cardstock, 1-to-1 scale, and I usually print 3 or 4 copies of it, and that way I can go from freehand to a paper cut stencil and work back and forth without a problem. This design would also work as a plotted file. If I was doing this on a gas tank on a Harley, say both sides, because I'm so adept to using a plotter, I would probably take this step, vector it, mirror it, and cut 2 vector files to stick on the bike. But the painting method will pretty much be the same. So that's why some people follow my lessons like, oh, I don't have a plotter, so I can't do it. I make sure my lessons work from traditional hand techniques to plotting to technical to all different ways. So it kind of encompasses what anyone needs. So, and before I get started with that, over the past few weeks, you guys have watched. Sorry, still got that little cough. Been weeks, man, sitting there. We did the Skull Revolution, which is doing great. So many of you guys downloaded. It's amazing. I can't wait to see what some of you guys pull off with that. Thank you, honey. You're amazing as always. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much appreciated. So on the Skull Revolution, which Honey bought the first 2 with the American flag skull and the Puerto Rican flag skull, and she coined the phrase American collection, and she owns it. But I had this one cut, and I really didn't want to do... I didn't want to bore you with another skull video of the same skull, which is a flag overlay. I think it got a little repetitive. I probably will do some work later. But I did this guy here, which is the same skull we've been doing, but I did the Canadian flag for my Canadian friends and brothers and some of my family up there. So this one is available. If people want to bid this tonight, we can also bid on this one tonight. And this one, I would take a starting bid to let this go at 200. So if somebody wants this one to add to the collection, this is available as well. And if you don't want to do it live tonight, you don't see other bids, you feel free to reach out to me afterwards. All right. I'm going to put that aside so nothing happens to it. And what's up, Swampy, my fellow Time Warper? Oh, very cool. Very, very cool, Darren. You guys over at Time Warp? I pop in and out of that once in a while. Oh, we already have a bid on the skull. I had a feeling London was going to jump on that. Thank you, Sean. I'm going to divide up this board here. Eagle, and then skull, and we have London Sean at 200. All right, let's get moving. Okay. All right, how am I going to transfer this? First one, answer the question. Who we got? What's my technique for this one? What do I typically like to do on this one? We'll see if anyone gets that off the mark. Yeah, you know, the Portugal flag. Yeah, Portugal flag would be pretty cool. Look, here's the deal, guys. If anyone wants one of these by me, we can work them out starting in that 200 range, depending on how complex the flag is. If someone wants one of these skulls done by me for their collection, reach out to me on the side. We can do these. It might not be on video, but we can do them off to the side. Be happy to do it and go from there. London paint is right. Pencil on the back. Carbon or Sorel. Exactly. I used to love using the Sorel. I fell out of love with it. Because it's so waxy, I don't like the thickness of what it leaves behind. So for the most part, what I've been doing now, like Sean said, Steve, I am recording. I did start this. Trace it over. In a way, it's kind of reverse tracing, okay? So because I printed it out a few times, I want to get it transferred to this metal surface. So what I do, I take, in this case, this is a 4B pencil, so super soft lead, okay? Right here. And basically, I go over it like crazy. You know, a couple times back and forth, which I'm basically making carbon paper, carbon trace paper, or Sorel paper. But the lead never affects clear coat, doesn't affect the paint, never had any issue with it. The carbon paper I never use because I don't know what's going to happen with it down the road. I think it can bleed back through. I've never chanced, so I'm not going to do it. And then the Sorel, sometimes I don't like the thickness of it. Usually my Sorel paper, which for those of you who don't know, it's like you get a white, a blue, a yellow, a red kind of carbon paper. And it doesn't use it like silicone or waxes in its transfer. But if I use it now, I usually like wear the heck out of it so it's not as like thick because it goes down really heavy. So basically what I do is I rub like a 4B and up I find is fine. 8s are awesome. And I take the excess off. Again, I do this because I don't want so much charcoal on here that's it's going to be hard to get rid of the black lines, okay? And then I just tape it to the surface. Okay, tape it down. And then, like I said, this is what I do for motorcycles and cars as well. And then I use a pen, and I'm going to use a pen regardless. You can use charcoal also, which, same thing. You know, use it soft. Wipe off all the excess so that way you don't have a ton on there. If you don't have a ton on there, then you'll leave just enough in the drawing behind. Hello, Brother John. Brother John is on. Oscar, James, how you guys doing over at Facebook? Thanks for popping in. Darren, thank you very much for that comment. I much appreciate it. All right, so whether I'm using Sorel paper, carbon paper, this method, I always use a pen. Because pens always stay a consistent size, it's not going to lay a thick line on there. I usually try to use like a fine point pen. Use a pencil, the pencil wears out halfway through and you start getting really thick lines behind. So the other thing I try to do is I try to keep my hand from pushing down too much because it will imprint. And I'm just doing like a light transfer. Once I do the first one, I check it. And let's see for you guys here. You can see that line right there. You'll see more of it as I go through. I'm going to leave it on this camera, probably easier. You can just see how I do it. A lot of times I'll use a red pen so I can see what I have over. What I've overdone. Sorry. The calf speaking. Or you can use a blue. And this is you know, kind of a composite of a few images of eagles I found and just kind of worked it out. I try to work, I don't obviously have my own eagle photos, but I try to work my own stuff as much as possible. Or if I'm working for a photo, I try to use it very sparingly and put a lot of my own style on it and make it more of like a tattoo style. Chaotic Customs, and you can see what you... Yeah, exactly, Chaotic. So if I'm using a red or blue on this, it's much easier. I just don't happen to have one here. It's much easier to tell what I did and didn't do. Obviously, I can kind of see through this one easy enough. And I'm not going for photo realist. If I was going for photo, I would be using a photo. It would not be done in a 2-hour video. That is for sure. Or it'd be edited and time-lapsed and all that stuff. So yeah, I got 35 of you in here, and then another 5 or 6 of you over on Facebook. Hey, Rick, how's it going, man? I appreciate you guys here on a Friday night. No, last night I got almost everything ready, and then my speeds... We were having a weird internet all day. I actually reset my computer a couple times trying it, and then my wife had to reset, so I think things are just buggy. Which is fine. It gave me today to mess with it a little bit more and kind of figure out some other stuff, so it's all good. Can you use this method? Yeah, you can totally use this method on leather. If it's dark leather, it's a little hard to see it, so what I would do first, sorry. What I would do if I was leather, I would kind of figure out my airbrush area, like where the area is going to be. I would probably airbrush a whiter, gray, or total background, let that set, and then do that transfer so you'd have something to see. That's probably how I would handle it. Daniel Powers, what's going on, man? Good to see you. It was great seeing your video the other night on... what was it, Air Graphics, his podcast. It was really well done. It was really, really good. So yeah, now, so this is here now, and the reason I like doing this method is I could do both sides of a Harley like this without a problem and transfer it. Or, like I said, I could vector it. Or I can teach this lesson so someone without a plotter can do it, someone with a plotter can do it. It all works. And this is basically how we used to always do it. Realistically, what we used to do is, you know, a lot of times, now you can start to really see, you can see the image pretty well now, I think. I'm going to actually zoom in a little more. Yeah. So you can see all the line work there. And that's good enough. Now, I can make it darker, but personally, I don't want to make it darker because I don't want to see the lines. I know I'm going to fade them out really easy afterwards. So it's also why I don't bear down too hard. But in the past, what I used to do, we used to actually put transfer paper down first and put the tape down, or we could use gold mask or masking and transfer to that, and then we cut out the shapes and peel and pick and peel and pick. And that's where the plotter really came in. Whereas before I had a plotter and it was kind of, it made sense to integrate it, most of us guys would hand cut it, and then we started doing plotter work. Basically, we just hand cut how we would normally do the plotting. Yeah, like I said, so we would hand cut all this stuff. And then that led to realizing you're cutting the surface, and maybe we could run this through a plot. And the next time I ran it through a plot was, okay, well, I could do an eagle once, and then customer comes to the different road, like flash art, I could resize it, stretch it, and do another version of that same eagle, and it became a more efficient way to work. And that's it. So if you were just doing total freehand, like with no paper cutting, this would kind of be how you'd start. And I'm going to use black. Like I said, I'm using my candy black. Paint list. So I'm using my candy black. This is my reduction. My reduction is the 40-11, the 40-20. It's a 4-to-1 mix. Actually, that's for the white. I don't really use any reducer in the black candy. The black candy is just the black candy and the UVLS mixed, like I said, with a little bit of black. And let's go back. Mr. Chaotic, best band name ever. Esther McCauley, hi on Esther, how are you? Everyone say hi to Esther. She's over there on Facebook, up in Nova Scotia area, or around that area. I'm not sure where you're at specifically. But that's where I hung out with you. Gary Gregory, Sean, what's going on, everyone? So like I said, if you were just doing, freehand, this is where you'd come in and you would just basically start your painting. And quite honestly, the reason I do a lot of masking work is it's really just for speed. It's not. Some of it's to make the artwork better, but some of it's just for me to make things faster, more efficient, and I make more money at it. And it keeps the surface cleaner. So, in this case, what I would do, before I get started, I have a panel. I would usually take the one I just drew from, which, oops, is on the back. So I'd usually take this one, and then wherever I did the cuts, I would cut out all my major areas. In this case, I'm going to do this whole silhouette. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut here. Basically, I'm going to cut a silhouette on this whole head, so I can first start out by blacking out this whole background. Okay, that's how I'm going to do it. And, I'm just going to take my blade. I'm going to slowly do this. I'm going to go around. I'm going to cut out the eyeball as well. And through the magic of doing things earlier, voila, this is how I would cut it. Okay? This would be my first cut. So I would go from here to here. And I would cut out the shape. And I'm going to cut out the eye. You know what? I'm going to cut out the nostril as well. And I'm going to take the beak here. And I'm going to cut this shape. Here. And I'm going to cut out the inner part of the mouth. Just like that. So it lines up. I can line over there to my drawing. Use my earth mask. That was fun last weekend. Oh, the Buffalo Skullman. Yeah, that was awesome. I saw you start. I don't think I saw the finished result. But I have to go over to your page and check it out. Alright, so what I do here, you know what? I'm going to do black and white. Should I put a color back here? What do you guys think? Astro Solari, thank you for popping in at 1:21 a.m. That is much, much appreciated. I'm just going to give you a big crowd cheer for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate it. Cheers, Chris. And for those who just popped in, don't forget thanking our members here who've joined up and now Down and Dirty Tricksters. And it's much, much appreciated. Thank you, all you guys, for joining up. And hopefully more and more sign up. And the more people that do, the more videos, the more stuff I can do. So thank you very much. Terrence Phillips, what's going on, man? I can't really do a flag in this time frame. I'm just thinking, should I do a color or should I just do it black? I don't know. You know, when in doubt, I usually use like a swirl background. I usually use one of these guys and just give it a swirl. Yeah, we're just gonna do that. Oh, cool, man! You got some of the shirts. Awesome. I need to get some for SEMA. I gotta find some mechanic shirts. Actually, I'm gonna do some red caps. I think for SEMA. I gotta see if there's a way that I can get those onto my Teespring store. I'm not sure if I can. So I'm going to keep this really dark back there. Interesting. God, I appreciate that. That's what I try to do. I've been doing this for 34 years. Greg Bagley, my old co-worker from NTW, Sears Tire, NTB days. And also, I have to say hi. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Greg Bagley's probably one of my first 5 or 6 motorcycle customers I ever painted for. And we did the black and white checkered flag, and I think it had blue accents. I'm not sure about that, but I remember something like that. I want to say you were probably one of the first. I know you were in the first 10 bikes I ever did. Maybe even within the first 5. You were right at the edge. So thank you for being there at the very start of all this. And now we're 30-something years later, and we're all over the world doing it. So thank you, sir. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. And get back over to the multi-view and go from there. Yes, everyone. I used to sell tires. When I was selling tires, I was doing like a motorcycle here, and a gas tank here. That was about 92. I want to say that was about probably 96, 98 time frame. I'd say around 96. Because by 98, I was starting to do dragsters and some bigger stuff, and then by 2000, I was out of there full time painting. So yeah, let's just get this background mostly black. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time, and I've done a lot of techniques, from traditional hand techniques to, you know, plotter to masking to complete freehand to mix the both, to solvent to watercolor to mix to oils to acrylics, doesn't matter. So this is that candy black, and it's just got a little bit of black mixed in. I'm going to just hit this a little bit. I'm going to hit it really dark up here. I'm going to hit the eyeball. That's going to be solid black. And then the nostril could be just north of solid. Again, to my Facebook friends who are on Facebook, if you click over to YouTube and look up Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks, you'll get a much more stable feed. Facebook tends to be glitchy. So if you get over YouTube, it's much better. Alright, let's see what we're looking like. So just enough, it starts getting that basic feel. And if you guys only watch me on Facebook, then you can't become Down to Dirty Trickster members and get all the perks and actually bonuses and discounts on the store. By joining up, becoming a member, like the other 27 people that just signed up in the past couple weeks. Yeah, that's a lot of it. Most of the race cars are going. They do it for weight. They do it for timing. I get it, but yeah, that industry that's just kind of where it is. Yep. Let's see. Whose booth are you going to be in at SEMA? Whose booth am I going to be at SEMA? We are going to be doing quite a few booths. We're almost getting back to, it's starting to feel like pre-COVID SEMA. Talked to a ton of people. Kelvin Jones. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that chat. And don't forget, we don't have any bids on this one. We do a $200 bid on this little beauty right here. So this is a $200 bid. Thank you. Switch back up. So whose booth am I going to be in? So I am going to do Iwata. So I'll be in Iwata's booth every day. At least 2 hours, maybe 3. Doing make and takes again and some demos. We're going to be over at FBS doing some tape out demos, plotter demos, masking demos, and then of course the tape off challenge, which they're going to crown a new champion this year. So there's a lot of good guys that come every year for the tape challenge, and man, it's some great stuff. So we're going to do that. Also, I'm going to probably make an appearance over at Truler's with Jack 1 or 2 times. And then there's some other companies that haven't fully announced if they're going to be demoing or having people in, so I'm going to keep them quiet. And then, of course, the one big thing anyone who goes to SEMA Las Vegas has to come to, Monday night, Hogs and Heifers off Fremont Street. I believe it's 6th Street? Or maybe, I'll have to look that up. 2nd Street? It's right at the end of Fremont Street. We're doing our kickoff party for SEMA, which includes the official Lowrider Culture, Lowrider Hall of Fame inductee ceremony. We are doing a memorial to Mike LaValle. It's going to be hosted by Chip Foose, so Chip will be there making an appearance. And most of the guys, if you guys watch the TV shows, pretty much all the guys come out for this. You'll probably see the guys from Couch. You'll probably see Chip. You'll probably see a bunch of other people. Nothing official, but it's just, we've been doing this for so long, before the TV, before anything, these are still a staple. And the main thing we're bringing back, because we haven't done it since pre-COVID, is we're all us airbrush artists and pinstripers and painters. Doesn't matter brand, doesn't matter what you use. Iwata, Grex, Badger, Saturn, doesn't Createx, Inspire, House of Color, doesn't matter. You come, you paint, you enjoy the party, and anything that's going to be auctioned off is going to be for kids with cancer. I think it's Nevada Kids with Cancer Foundation. That is going to be Monday night. I believe it starts at 6 or 7 at Hogs and Heifers. So make sure if you guys are at SEMA or set up at SEMA, you come down for that hangout for the night. It is a blast, and it's for a good cause, so really looking forward to it. I'm really glad Mickey's taking it over, and I'm happy to give him some help. So, yeah, really looking forward to SEMA this year. SEMA is going to be an absolute killer blast, so we will see you there. All right. And you get to have a drink with Scott. Yes, you do. And you get to buy me drinks. Actually, you don't have to buy me drinks because we're painting live. And that's the other good thing, is if you're painting and contributing, usually drinks are flowing pretty freely. So, I know for me it'll be free. But most people who are painting and doing stuff, because they're kind of a little bit of trade-off. Within reason. Within reason. All right. This is what I call destructive editing for the masking. I'm going to do this. This is actually going to get kind of... This part might not line up with what I did, so I might have to mess with it some more. Oh man, I wish you could make it this year. You know, I wasn't sure if a lot of people were going to show up because COVID's still been a little wonky, obviously. I mean, events since COVID. Not that COVID's a thing now. They better not try to pull it again. But anyway, I digress. It seems like a lot of the brands are coming back. A lot of the people are coming back. And I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of different people. Honey would go nuts at SEMA. I'm sure we can muscle up a badge. Now, the other thing is, I think for the first time this year, they are open to the public on Friday like they did during COVID. But they are allowing outdoor spectators, regular spectators, to come to all the outdoor sections. Not the indoor show, but all the outdoor stuff you can, as a spectator, can actually show up and see it. So that's cool. I don't want, public expectation in the main show itself, because there's a reason it's not open to the public. Because it's an industry thing, and it's more about brands talking with dealers and things like that more than it is like a car show. And it's hard for people who aren't in that to understand. That's what SEMA is really about. It's really about vendors and dealers direct and users direct, not just people who want to see cool cars. When I drank whiskey, I drank whiskey. Cheers. Whiskey. So notice what I'm doing. When I spray this, I'm doing very little. And the key is, by doing very little, it's going to give me a lot... sorry. It's going to give me a lot of freehand control down the road. I'm just setting up the underpainting here. That's basically what I'm doing. That way, I get kind of... This is why I almost like... As much as you guys know, I love using a plotter. There's a lot of times I like paper better, or loose stencils better, because you get a much softer edge to contend with. I'm going to be doing some more videos on this. Yeah, but SEMA makes it easy. Got a business card. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to have all these crazy... It's a little harder than it used to be, actually. But you don't need crazy credentials. They just want to make sure you're just not weekend warrior, fun car guy that really just wants to go to a show and see celebrities and cool cars and take pictures and drink beer and run around. They want people who actually are who understand the business a bit. Okay, there's plenty of car shows throughout the year for all the other stuff. But yeah, it's really simple to get your credentials for SEMA. It's not hard. It used to be a lot harder back in the day. During COVID, they made it a little bit more difficult because they wanted to keep it to a minimum. From what I hear. The first time I went to SEMA, I didn't get an invite from a company. I was an airbrush artist. I wanted to come see it. I wanted to come meet brands, and I wanted to come meet other painters, and that's what I did. That's how I did it. So I had my own business and just went. But see how easy that was? The basic eagle's already there. I'm going to take this black, actually. I'm going to drop my pressure and thin this down. I'm actually running a little bit low. I'm going to have to mix some up. How I mix my black. 101. I'll give you a show. Black candy. And I do 1-to-1, equal parts pretty much. 40-50. No reducer. I mix these first. This black candy has a little bit of a purplish tint. So if you want to get rid of that purplish tint, 50-51 illustration black, and you just kiss it in there. And that's enough to take the edge off. I'm trying to get my boss to go because we use everything there. Yeah, it's... I mean, this is how I would put it to your boss, too, is if you have a shop, A, the trip's pretty much a write-off, most of it. 2, you're not just meeting a local sales rep. Like, if you buy a lot of stuff, especially if you're looking for big equipment and tools, or it's like, hey, I'm going to do a mixing bank, or I want to get a whole bunch of guns and a whole bunch of this and that, you can actually go and talk with the heads of the company, or the head of sales, or the head of marketing, and actually put together a marketing plan or business plan and get a really good deal. That's always been what's really cool about SEMA. Is like a buddy of mine came for the first time last year, and he was increasing the size of the shop, and by being able to like talk with everyone directly and find out new innovative stuff that's coming out, it's really good. The other thing is there's a whole bunch of seminars that happen, like different business seminars and how to improve advertising, marketing, how to improve your workflow in your business. There's so many seminars going on throughout the week. It's really good. If you're in the automotive business as a professional, custom car, or even just regular day-to-day operations, not just custom, it is worthwhile to go or send someone on your team to go to help build that brand. What's your feeling on the Createx High Gloss Black? I only use that High Gloss Black when I'm using their chrome. That's the only time I use it. That's pretty much what it's designed for. It's designed to be like a single stage black that stays shiny. And from what I gather too, there's quite a few guys in the industry that like it as a, you can pinstripe with it if you're using like a synthetic pinstripe brush. So, but other than that, I don't really use it. Kaylee's on the edge. She's much better. She's feeling good. Not 100%, but she's on the edge. But she's the same thing. She's got this cough follows you for like 10 days. Like, I'm pretty good today, but man, it's just been, just been a pain. All right. So this is where I like to do a lot more freehanding. And I might need to make it even thinner. But thank you, honey. She's doing much better. This is almost too dark. I want it to be super subtle. So what I'm going to do... more 40-50. The other thing you can do is put 4004, which is just with this transparent base. No, I have that. That doesn't really help. I got that right here. In some ways, it's making it worse. So, let's see if I will. There we go. So now it's more of a transparent, which is what I want. Because I want this to have like a black and gray tattoo feel. And what's cool is when I do this, I'm kind of setting up for erasing. So I can just shade. Sounds like you should be... I know. It's just a cough, man. I'm fine. It's just a damn cough. I can't not paint. because of a cough. I just need to talk less. Still pain. But watch, so I can do this and start toning this in. Right. But here's the other thing. There's so much at SEMA about how to not get screwed by those insurance companies and taken advantage of as one of those shops. And maximize what you're getting paid properly, because those guys mess with you more than most customers do. So there's a lot of seminars on that. Now the eyes of the eagle are pretty dark. Yeah, I mean, oh, I'm good. It's just, it's like a dry spot right like where the back of my like sinuses meet my throat. And it just gets a tickle. And then late at nights get worse. Let's do some water. I'm sorry, post edit, we'll just take all these out. And it'll be fine. There's a few ways to do the eradication techniques. And I've talked about quite a few of them. First one being, the one I like using a lot, is the electric eraser. Yeah, no. So if I want to put a texture in the eye, is I can go in and just I can go in and just do little dots and just tap. I'm going to try to get even. Get even closer. And so I can just go in and just get these nice little textures. I got honey balls right now. It's not helping. I think it made it worse. Yeah, so you got the erasing with that. And then option 2 is using the eraser stick. It's alright. This video, we're going to do a full voice overlay. I go to edit it. Yeah, no, I know. I appreciate some of the remedies. But so you can see, I can just re-soften that up. And bring that highlight back. Oops, I just lost the feet. There we go. Thank you, Mike. Much, much appreciated. One of the tricksters. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just going to shut up and paint. Huh. Mike gets more cowbells. I need to get a new cowbell sound. My cowbell sound went away. It started crashing. So I got one of these. But it ain't the same. We got one of these. That's how my throat feels tonight. Crash! Thank you guys. Appreciate it. The other thing too is I just ate before it. Whenever I eat, I had some burgers, and I swear, like, the bread and stuff gets stuck in my throat, and the bourbon's not helping. But you see, once you're done, now it's just working with the image you got. And now slowly starting to build some feather shape. The key is, what, this one? The key to erasing, especially if you use a 40-50, which isn't super advisable, I'd probably use illustration colors more so for doing a lot of erasing, is keep your colors really light. By doing that, you'll get a better erase out of it. Just slowly working. You can also wet the tip of the stick erasers, and it'll be a sharper hit. And then as it dries, it gets soft. See how much texture you start getting. Any of the tricksters get the photo of this from the community page? I put it up there. show you the size and stuff, and if you want to follow along, you guys can. Definitely not the sounds of my people. I'm on the opposite side. Yeah, definitely smash that like. They're fun to do. I love doing eagles. You know, it is a staple of like the automotive, more motorcycle world. But it's a nice break from skulls. And the nice thing with eagle projects is it really teaches you to get really good with your dagger strokes, how to soft shade, how to get a mix of crisp, you know, and hard shapes. Right in here on an eagle, when the beak meets the, like, kind of around where the eye socket is, that kind of fleshy bit here, Gerald's templates come in just perfect, because I'll put a little bit of that. I'll put a little bit around the eye. And then you add some erasing with that. I have done an eagle as a skull quite a few times, actually. I did one on this. I did this one on a really cool Hayabusa. Coming right at you. I did another one on this guy's bike. It's like a half eagle flesh, half skull, and it goes in and out. That's something I want to visit again. Like, so I did one, the beak starts out and you have the fleshy eye, but you start seeing the skull socket here, and you start seeing the bone back here in the bone structure. It's a really cool, way to do it. So maybe that could be a cool video down the road. Yeah, eagle skulls are fun, but like I said, I've done a few where they're mixed, like half, yeah, the zombie eagle. You know what I almost did tonight, but I wanted to do it for years, because I have the pictures of it. A Zeagle. Oh my god, a Zeagle. Womp womp womp. Before they got rid of Tower of Terror, in the lobby of the Tower of Terror, they had this really bitchin' owl sculpt that was like on a table, and it always had cobwebs, and I had a whole bunch of pictures of it. That's something I want to do as a painting at some point. So you see how that gives that nice little texture in there by doing a mix of loose shield, of details, and then a mix of erasing. See myself out. It's alright, I'm not going to come catch you. You're way too far away. And according to Flat Earth, as you guys don't exist anyway. I love watching those Flat Earth videos of people who say Australia's not real. I'm like, dude, I literally talked to people there. I know people there. You guys are all in on it, though. And down here, you start getting like little teeny feathers. A Terminator eagle would do a big red glowing eye. Yeah, I gotta do some more koi. I typically, like I said, I have a bunch in the works for paintings. I just don't do a lot of the koi live. The kois I really want time with. It's kind of my serenity painting when I paint them. But if you see like how I'm approaching this type of painting to how I approach my other ones, it's a little bit slower, it's a little bit more purposeful and very soft because I want that soft edge. It's not like when I go in for some of this bigger, the skull work, which is really bright and flashy. This is more of an exercise of being soft and subtle. Which I'm not always known for in my artwork. Just coming in, I can tap a little here. Get that fake highlight right there. Yeah, love my little skull icons. For those of you who don't know, everyone who's lighting up green gets their own little skull icons, and those are all the Down and Dirty Tricksters. Those are all the members of the channel. They get special privileges. They get discounts at the stores, so they get some special messages. They get some special access to things. All for $2.99 a month, and just a big thank you to me. So, I really do appreciate that. Just tapping in, yep, exactly. It's almost like this is probably the closest to me ever doing a tattoo on someone would be using one of these and going. Not that I'm equating this style to doing tattoos at all, because it's not. But it's probably the closest I'm going to get. And the other nice thing about doing this is you're not getting that blue shift. The other thing I almost did, I wanted to do, see if there's any nerds in here. I was gonna do a, what is it? Adeptus Mechanicus skull? I think that's the right term for it. That was the other thing. I was going to use a copper plate and then do an Adeptus Mechanicus skull, which, if any of you guys know what that's from, you're a nerd. And you know it. Can't find the join button. It should be where the money is or somewhere. It depends on if you. I don't know if you're on a phone or a computer. It's right near where you subscribe. And we're at 27 active members now. I'm going to keep growing, making that bigger. It's not really a link. In your wherever you would normally subscribe, I'm not sure where you're on Facebook, but it's usually right next to Down Dirty Tricks. Wherever you would subscribe to the channel would be there. Or I think if you hit, I'm not sure if you have the money chat. Yeah, I can only see it on iPad right now. If you're on a computer, it's definitely there. Phones, it gets a little weird while you're actively watching. The Iwata one is great. Dusky art. Did Lady pop in? Did I miss? I don't see Steve. Did I miss Steve? Okay. So you can see, like, when I do stuff like this, there are no bids on the Eagle yet. Just the, there's a $200 bid on the Canada Skull, which came out really cool. I dig it. I can already tell you tonight, between my voice and just the approach I'm taking this, I want this really nice shuttle tattoo feel and like more illustration feel. I'm taking my time with this. I want a nice, really soft painting. So this one I'll probably do an overtime wrap up. Just because I'm really digging this color tone and the way it's coming out. I'm gonna take my time. Yeah, I love the Iwata eraser. It works really good. It's a nice unit. Especially the rechargeability, being a battery pack one, is really, really cool. The Sakura ones, which are these, this is ancient. The Sakura ones are more powerful. They are more money. This was really old. But the Iwata ones are awesome. We have an official bid on this Eagle one. Gary at $150. Thank you, sir. So the bids are 200. Nope. Yep. You're dry. So we got 200 on the Skull, 150 on the Eagle. Okay. Cut like a surgeon. Thank you. That's a compliment. So what we're going to do here, we'll get that separated. You got to come see that. Now take this. And what I like to do, we're going to get this nice and sharp. I'm going to throw a little Ice Pro alcohol on the tip of my eraser stick. Now I can do little, whoops. I can just come down and just do little feather sweeps. I'm just going to soften them up. And I can also take the Canada Skull. Yes. This sounds really awesome for people who get chills. You can do little feathers. You know what really works good is the rounded blades. I should use a few of the rounded ones. Because you get a nice soft little erasing going on there. And as your eraser dries out, you can kind of soften up all of them. Cool. Yeah, so you can use IPA. You can use just reducer. You can soak it in water. Now, if you're doing solvent base, sometimes I soak it in reducer. Scratchy Feathers. That's Steve Leahy's stage name. Now, welcome to the main stage, Steve Scratchy Feathers Leahy. I don't know why I just thought of that, but... And we have any fun plans for Labor Day weekend? I know I'm having lunch with a good friend and mentors coming to town on Sunday, so that's going to be fun. Actually, I get to go to a place I haven't been forever because, you know, it's we just don't go into Boston to go get lobster. So I'm going to go to the Union Oyster House in Boston, which I haven't been to in forever. Hopefully it holds up. There's a very small crease here where like the back of the beaker on the nostril meets that. Oh, he does more than burlesque, let me tell you. Some little details in here. Mr. Lee and Mr. Powers in the house. A couple of my favorite artists. Or at least I tell them that when they're around. Oh my god. Damn, that's awesome. That's some funny shit right there. That's awesome. Oh, great. I almost just demonetized myself with swearing. I caught it, I think. No, it's fine. Make me laugh, whatever. What's worse gonna happen? No. You know what's the worst that can fucking happen? Anyone who has a glass of anything, raise it. I'm going to say goodbye to another amazing artist and friend who's taken too soon. One of the best airbrush artists in the world. One of the nicest guys to ever hold an airbrush. Without a doubt. Mr. Kiwi Terry Stevens passed away last week. Very peacefully. But nevertheless, still sucks. Kiwi Terry was probably not only one of the most talented and gifted airbrush artists I've ever known to hold an airbrush, but just the nicest damn guy. Never crass word unless he's messing with you. Never got into like politics about who's who and who does what and what brand is this. He was just above it. Didn't concern himself with it. He was just a natural artist. Great guy, and we're gonna miss him. So he's up with Mike, where the artist energy returns to, and creating some awesome shit. Well, hopefully giving us some creative muse to continue this journey. So we raise a glass to Kiwi. We miss you. We love you, buddy. Thanks for all the good times and your friendship. Done way too many of these in the past couple of years. Stop it. And Terry was probably the closest person to a pirate I ever did. Not only did he just bounce around the world painting and was kind of a gypsy-like guy, just he looked like a pirate. Talked like one. A damn accent. Remember the first time I met him? Oh my god, it was Kiwi Terry, Darren Wenzel, and oh, he's a pinstriper custom card builder, Australian. Damn it, it's on the tip of my freaking tongue. In a limo in Vegas, coming from the custom painter party, going to another party, and two Australians and a Kiwi going at it in the limo, back and forth to each other. It was the first time I met Kiwi Terry. And it was just, it was amazing. A little too offended at being thought of as an Aussie in my book. No, he's not an Aussie. He was a true Kiwi. So you guys who've been watching me paint he was so much fun at the art circus. Great. Amazing teacher. Just the patience of an angel and a saint, even when dealing with people who are struggling, rightfully so, and then even while dealing with people who are complete asshats to him, he would still just stay above it. And you would look at the work he pulled off, and then look at him and be like, him? Did that? What? Love that guy. Well, it's just like Aussie, Kiwi. Same friggin' thing. Most people can't tell the difference between Irish and Scottish. Get over it. If you're from Greenland or Iceland. He was just a legend. And we are better people for having known him. His skull work, too, was just legendary. He just had such a good, soft but hard style. Like, it wasn't like... I pick my skulls apart when I do them a lot of times because sometimes I do, like, too much line work in some of my skulls, which I do it for effect. But, man, his just had... texture and flow and just shape and a three-dimensionality that didn't look like forced photo paper cut. It just had a nice, it was his style. Just like his work had the chef's, yes, exactly. It just had that something that you can't put your finger on, but you knew it's his. It's just like you could always tell a LaValle real fire job and a LaValle skull by his brush strokes. Which sounds funny because it's an airbrush, but his airbrush strokes were his. And you could pick it out from a mile away. Kiwi was the same way. You could pick out his skulls from a mile away. Rod Fuchs has been the same way. Craig Fraser had his own look the same way. You could have every one of those guys do a skull from the same photo reference and position, and you could, without even staring at him for more than 3 seconds, know that's a Kiwi skull, that's a Fraser skull, that's a Steve Gibson, that's a Mike LaValle. You can just see it, and it's awesome. Big squatchy. But you can see, like, even this is, I'm not painting like my normal fast way where I do some of the skulls, whereas lines, shade, quick highlight, quick detail. I'm trying for that kind of soft feel. And all I did to get from my dark here is I added about another 20 to 30% more 4050, but you could also use 4004, or if you're using solvent, use SG100 or an intercoat. And instead of over-reducing the paint to make it thinner, you're actually just you're making the paint more transparent by basically upping the amount of transparent base to pigment ratio. And then I can get this nice soft feel, as opposed to, like, if I just over-reduce, over-reduction will never get you this soft feel. Over-reduction will just get you blowouts. The soft feel, you need to add it to a transparent base or a transparent binder of some kind. An airbrush medium, or depending on the system you're using. And then if I do go in with white, which I did mix up some opaque white, I might go through and either do a brush, or it's going to be done softly with an airbrush. This is kind of reminiscent in the same way, if you guys remember when I did this one. If you guys remember when I did Sid the Sloth. Sid the Sloth was all about the same thing, about being really subtle with the paint and soft. There's no harsh lines. There's very little white in it. And that was kind of the key. That's kind of what I'm doing here. Let me catch up here. Big swatch. Mike and I were talking one night about how much we loved bleed strokes. Yeah, man, I love bleed strokes and flood strokes. And the irony of using an airbrush to get such a solid shape. Yeah, and I can finally do it with water-based now, with some of the water-based colors, that they finally got the stronger opaques out there. But prior to that, you could only do that with solvent, and really, it was House of Color that really did it, for me, the best. It had the right consistency to just blow that stroke out, and then it would blow out, freeze on the edge, and just to be a perfect dagger, and it'd be like almost fully opaque, 100% opaque, or as you say, capped on the edges, and a transparent belly. It was just an amazing stroke. I'm not trying to be modest. I'm not going to say I know. I feel I instruct well. I am a good instructor. I enjoy doing it. But working with those guys is a humbling experience. And as someone who's been fortunate to work with great teachers and artists around the world, it's great to be in that family, but to see the difference. So the only, Calvin, the bleed stroke, or flood stroke is what I call it, is the perfect balance of pressure to paint volume to speed and movement. They all have to be just right, and it gets to be a second nature stroke once you get it. Yeah, forms the skin on the surface, it catches, creates an edge as the solvents dry fast. Yeah, exactly. And it took a while for me to get the Createx colors to do it, and the new opaques finally do it. The illustration opaques get close. They won't do it on sanded clear coat as well. They do it better over a base coat. Because it grabs that tooth, but yeah, but you got to have the volume just right. You got to jack your air pressure. You can't be trigger shy. You can't be shy to pull that trigger back. Almost like when we're doing flood strokes, when Mike was doing them, a lot of guys are like doing this. Whoops, whoops, whoops. I'm gonna do it left, so you guys can see left hand. So most guys will do this, and they like pull back a trigger like this, a little bit. When Mike's doing that, he's like, all the way back, all the way back, all the way back, all the way back, all the way back. And if you're not moving at 80 miles or 100 miles an hour across the surface, you're just going to get mad blowouts. And it's that fine balance of flow, viscosity, and speed. So you got to have the paint flowing out just right. You got to have the right volume coming out, speed, move. It all has to come into play, or that flood stroke turns into disaster. But Mike was flawless at it, absolutely flawless. Like, Kiwi did not paint like that. Let's do a side-by-side, yeah. Kiwi was not that type of painter. Kiwi was more soft and subtle. You know, Gerald Mendez, soft and subtle. They bring this stuff up. I go back and forth where, like, and LaValle would too. So LaValle was painting an eagle, soft feathers. He paints really soft. When he went into, like, if he was painting this in fire color, he was hammering flood strokes. Just hammering them. To the point where most people... He was one of the guys that painted like a t-shirt artist who was really never a t-shirt artist, per se. Like, I came from a t-shirt background, so I was always used to working at 80, 60, 80 psi to 100 psi with an airbrush and moving super fast across the surface. It's just something you learn. Which is why a lot of t-shirt artists got into automotive and did really well with the right paints. Yeah, exactly. It's all about balance. Yep. So all you got to do is just move a little faster and you'll have it. The size of this piece is 9 by 12. So it's a 9-inch panel, according to Trulers, by a 12-inch panel. And right now, he said bike rallies. Yeah, bike rallies taught him how to paint quick. It was like me. What taught me how to paint quick and fast and high pressure was t-shirt days. So I started as a t-shirt artist back in the late 80s, early 90s. Malls, beaches, Christmas time, things like that. So you're doing, you know, a start to finish Grinch in 2 minutes. A start to finish Tasmanian Devil in 3 minutes, because you're a little bit bigger. Beach scenes in 5 minutes or less, sometimes 2 minutes. You know, at $10 a shirt, $20 a shirt. You're making bank, but you have to move incredibly fast to make that happen. And for those of you who think it's like, oh, it's super easy money, mall space during the holiday season is probably the most expensive real estate you can rent. And beach space in the summer is the same thing for like t-shirt artists and stuff. When we did this was, I'm going to tell you this pricing, and you're probably going to hit the floor. Remember, this is not today's days. This was 1990s. When we would do t-shirt stands at the malls and just all around Boston and New Hampshire border, all around this area, for the 8 to 10 weeks before Christmas, you would have to pay $20,000 up front for a cart in the middle of the mall. It was $20K for one of those 4x8 foot carts in the middle of the mall. Prepaid $20K up front. That's before you bought shirts. That's before you bought paint. You were 20 grand. And that was in 1992. Just to give you a little idea how many shirts you have to paint per day at, you know, you're figuring $200 an hour, you know, by the time you're really cranking. But how much you have to do before you break even. But that's how you learn how to be fast. Because it's the only way to make your money back. We would do it, but it was a lot. The Big E was also very expensive. The Big E would cost me, because I would pay for my days, I would go and help them out. I think it was $400 a day. Was about, between the insurance and the space rent, it was about $300 to $400 a day. Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah. Yeah, people don't understand. Every single one of those carts at the mall back in the 90s was $20K. Cheap little malls would be like $50, maybe $12K. Premier malls were $20. I guarantee you, and I don't know this firsthand, nowadays, they're probably getting $30 to $40 grand up front for the season. So think about how many cell phone cases these guys have to move and whatever else, because most of the stuff in the malls is that stuff. So, all right. See, my voice is getting a little bit better. This is definitely going to be an overtime finisher. I just don't know if it's going to be this weekend or maybe midweek. I won't take any more bids on it, though. Whatever it bids at tonight, we'll leave it there. Oh yeah, is that eye opener? Yeah, man, it's that's how much those carts run, man. Like I said, maybe they're cheaper now, but I doubt it. Usually things don't go down in price, but yeah, I remember that was 92. Now you can launch an online store, ads live and busy for under 500. True, but I will still attest. Like the last time, this is I think 4 years ago, 5 years ago was the last time I did the Big E, which is pretty recent. I would do the Big E. What's $9.13? I don't know what that is. When I would do the Big E, I would do 4 days for 12 hours a day. And I would walk out of there with at least $10,000 to $12,000 in 4 days. In t-shirts. 12 hours a day, t-shirts, $20 a shirt, $10 a shirt. You'd walk out of there with 10 to 20 grand. I mean 10 to 12 grand. You'd pay like $40 a day. So you're still way up. So the volume you can do in t-shirts in a carnival space. Oh, it was so low I didn't even know it was a joke. Thanks, Big Squad. Appreciate it. The sweet spot to making a lot of quick cash. T-shirts still have it over almost anything else, but you have to be willing to work nights, weekends, party events, fairs, big places, and move around quite a bit. The guys in Vegas, like Jonathan Downing and a lot of the guys out there, are still killing it with these parties. They go to the party, they're painting like 1,000 hats in a night. I mean, they do the flat rate or whatever, but man, it's just it's still crazy. Did you ever get RSI in the trigger finger? So no. I do have mild trigger finger in my hand, which is like carpal tunnel, but it's only this bad. Stretches and stuff has made it better, and it did stem all the way down to like a tendonitis in the elbow. Cortisone shot helped that a lot. And honestly, what hurts my hands now for painting has nothing to do with airbrushing. If I wet sand and polish motorcycles a lot, and doing all that fine sanding and like grinding and fingers, all around the bike, my palms of my hands ache from it. If I just paint and airbrush like this, completely fine. I can paint like this all day and never have a problem. It's more of the high impact, repetitive. Airbrushing is not too much of a problem. But see, I like how soft this is all getting up in here. And honestly, that's why I don't want to say get out of it like I don't do it. I don't do motorcycles and custom cars like I used to. Like, I'm not breaking them down and sanding them like I used to. I'm working with a bunch of different really awesome shops that either do it for me or I'm doing the artwork for them. And so I don't have to deal with that much anymore, which is super helpful for me and the shops I work with. So I do very little when it comes to it. To like full body work and prep and taking things apart now. I still do it now and again, but just not like I used to, which is good. But I feel it when I do. The problem with getting someone who's lackey to sand, you had to go back and fix it half the time because they just didn't know. I'd rather now in this stage of my career work with really high qualified people that can do it to the same standards I would do it at, as opposed to hiring someone and babysitting them. But if I had a bigger shop again, I'd go back to doing that. But I don't want that anymore. I love doing what I'm doing. I love teaching. I love doing the seminars. I love doing this for you guys. And that's why growing the channel is so important to me. Because it's stuff I can do over and over. Very easy. And work with everyone. And I can... a pin like this, I can spend a couple hours sketching it and planning it, adjusting my lights, my video, my audio, getting everything ready for this 1-2 hour feed. And the more support I have from everyone, like everyone that's been helping for, all these guys here, this helps. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, the $2-3, but you start getting more and more people. That covers the downtime when I'm prepping this stuff. The sponsors like Fisheye Filter, New Water, help out ahead of time. It's not massive sums of money. It's just a little bit, almost like that grassroots thing. It just helps the hours ahead of time that go into these 2-hour live feeds. So, thank you. There's still nothing that compares to being in the trenches. Oh, yeah. There's something, it's awesome. And honestly, that's half the reason I enjoy going to SEMA. Not half, but it's a big part of it, is you get to paint with all your idols and friends and paint side by side. You get to see all the cool cars. You get to see everything. That's one of the loves I have about going. It's getting there and painting live in front of like thousands of people and strangers and like, dude, when it was me versus Blake McCulley and Matt Andrews, we did the Amex Live paint competition. So it was 4 days at SEMA. We all had to paint a hood from start to finish with, our own imagery on it. And it's just thousands of people hanging out watching it. You're on stage, lights, and an announcer, and people talking. It was a blast. It was awesome. And I won it too, so that didn't suck. Tomorrow I'll be buffing a cargo van. Hope you got an orbital polisher now, man. Like, I've been a rotary buff my whole life, and I've switched to orbitals. I still do an initial cut with a rotary with heavy compound, but from there on out, it's orbital machines, man. It's so easy. Yeah, man, definitely Mac. That's a really good thing you just said, Astro. The only thing that ever bothered my sinuses more than solvent paints and anything else was polishing compounds in the air. It would just mask up, man. That's what I got really good at wearing the RZ masks, those neoprene ones with the little vents. Those are perfect because it was like a paper mask, and they were a lot cooler and they were really lightweight. Man, I always mask up when I polish now. Oops. Yeah, man, I hope you get there this year. It'll be great to see Ed Hubs. Oh, I'm working. You're just over on Facebook, where no one sticks around on Facebook. Come over with the rest of the gang over on YouTube, man. We're all over on YouTube. Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. Ed Hubs, get your ass over to YouTube where you belong. Oh, fiberglass is just gnarly. Just nasty to work with. Ed Hubs over on Facebook. You're a YouTube legend. Get over here. They're all bad. YouTube, what's that? I find mothers to be actually one of the worst, because the problem with a lot of mothers products is they run kerosene through a lot of their products. As their cutters, they have kerosene, and mothers and some of the other ones. But it's not even the kerosene. It's just as you're polishing, those dry particles get in the air, and they just get in my. They just kill me. Thanks, bud. Appreciate it. Thanks, Ed. But seriously, get over on YouTube. Airbrush down dirty tricks. Alec, thank you for that. And honestly, half the reason we kept doing it is because people supported it. And people would tune in and help us grow it. Oh yeah, I do the same thing, Mike. I've always done just a little bit of mist of water. Yeah, the only problem on Facebook is I don't see the feed as much, Ed. That's the problem with Facebook. So I miss a lot of comments on what people say, the way it's structured. And there was one point I almost bailed. I almost bailed in the feed, but kept it going. Kept it going. Oh, just so everyone knows too, as part of like the video, when I did this one, I did do the recording as well. So I recorded this so I could add some footage into the overall. So this has also been recorded. Thank you, Gary! Just so I'm not get confused, we're going to put that in case anyone else bids. The Eagle's now at 175, mixed with the 25. Thank you, sir. Gary gets the cowbells. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You are still winning the skull, sir. You are still winning the skull. That is at 200. You know what? We're just going to cap it. So a Canadian friend who's bought so many paintings That Canadian skull is locked in at 200 for Sean. A lot. London pen. That is yours, sir. Thank you very much. And this one's going to be ending pretty soon. So if there's no other bids, we're probably going to lock this up with Mr. Gary as well. Then I'm going to either finish this in an overtime video or over Labor Day weekend with me, myself, and I. But not bad for one color. All this tone is in one color. Just different mixtures, different amounts of, intercoats or things of that nature. Dan, thank you, man. Much appreciated. Oh, we have a late. We have a Chaotic Customs 200 on the Eagle. You got squeaked in. I was about to lock it down. Well, I got 15 minutes. Wherever it ends up at, that is where it lies. Just chaotic. I don't know if you've bid before. Just understand there's a $20 shipping attached. We take care of it through PayPal after the feed is over. I just need all your personal info if you are the winner, so you can message me on my Facebook feed or my Instagram or Scott at thinairgraphics.com. $58. Oh, that's cool painting. Ed does have a channel. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but he's over on... Well, he was over on Facebook, not anymore. I'm not sure if he popped in here or not. Dude, Ed had a channel before channels were even a thing, man. Ed was doing it. Ed had a massive following way before any of us. He's one of the OG YouTubers. Cheese, grits, and NyQuil. Cheese, grits, and NyQuil. That is an awesome name, and I'm just seeing it, and you are a member, and I didn't see you on the member list, but if I didn't have you on here, did I have you on here, or did you just join up? Let's see. Did I have you on here, or did you change the name? Cheese, grits, and NyQuil. That's awesome. If you are a new member, thank you, because I didn't see you on the list. Yeah, I think it's just Ed Hubs. Or is it Full Blown Customs? Might be Full Blown Customs. Hey Patrick, how you doing? So basically what I do is before the feed, I can print out a list of everyone, and then I make sure I update the list. I think I did that list the other night. So over here, this would just be the bigger body feathers. I'll keep this really loose. Alright, as I am wrapping this up, 10 minutes to go. The skull bit is over, 200. The ego is also at 200 with chaotic. The only possible challenge with that would be Gary. So this one will be finished off camera. Or like I might, maybe I'll do it overtime. Maybe I'll just do it overtime early in the week with this or something. Or maybe even over the weekend, who knows. Maybe I'll get bored over this weekend. I'm trying to get the last couple swims in the pool. It's been a damn horrible year for the pool, I tell you. No first world problems, but it's not cheap keeping that thing all season. Marshall, thank you. Connie, thank you very much. Yeah, when you work subtle and soft like this, as opposed to some of the harsher, quicker detail pieces I do, there's a lot more time to just play. Gary at 225. That includes his super chat. Please do an overtime. I will. I sound better now. You missed earlier in the feed. Right, guys? It wasn't much better earlier. Bradley James, thank you very much. Like I said, I will do a little bit of white in here, and we'll do some brush work. We'll just finish this thing off. Definitely want to clean up around here, get this dark down here. This is always here's another trick, guys. Let's say you're behind the 8 ball, or you got a customer that has a very small budget. But they want an eagle, they want this on both sides of the gas tank. Put your focus right here. Put all your time and detail right here. Keep all this loose as hell. For the most part, I could stop this, blend black and texture, and fade this out almost a soft focus on a bike and be done. Because say the customer only got a $200 budget. As long as you nail this area right here. Okay, that's kind of why I paint like this. You nail this, customer's happy. If they got a good budget and they want to do more, like, they give you all the time in the world, now you go in and you start doing all your feathers, you start doing all the detail, you spend time. But if you're time restrained because of a budget, get this right. That's all you need to do. Definitely hit that like button, guys. And it doesn't really show up during the feed. It starts to show up afterwards. Don't forget about the t-shirts. If you that products do, you guys get discounts. All you members in green, Calvin, Michael, Big Swatch, you get 10% off the merch store as well. Alright, so we're going to close this thing down, I think, at the 225. What it's looking like. I'm going to give Chaotic 1 minute. If he wants to up that bid. If not, thank you for the bid. We'll go up next time. But I'm not trying to force a bid out of you. There's always another painting down the road. Well, you're a member, man, so when you get a little extra scratch now and again, grab yourself a t-shirt. Oh, thanks, Hughes. Yeah, it was supposed to be last night, but I was having wicked technical issues. My internet speeds were really slow. And, you know, if you don't realize it, because I'm running such a high-quality feed with multiple cameras, it takes a lot of bandwidth, and I'm running on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So, you ordered Pocket Graphics, where did you get them from? I happen to have a set right here. These little buggers. I gotta do some more videos with those. There's a couple videos on Iwata, their YouTube channel, and I've done some here as well. I got to do more. I got to dedicate some time to doing more videos. Look at Paul McKay, Joe Larry, y'all coming in late, y'all coming at the end. Slackers. We've all been on since 8 o'clock. Just kidding. Thanks for popping in, guys. All right, we're going to lock that bid down with Gary. Oh, sorry, they're in back order. They'll be in soon. So I'm going to lock that bid down. It goes to 956 now. Gary, thank you very much. Gary is the high bid on that. Sean A-Lot on the skull. Got some clearing to do soon. Man, this looks so easy. Thank you very much. I did record everything, so this will make a nice how-to, and I will record the finish. I'm going to have to do voiceover to fix like the beginning. But I hope you realize, if you watch me week to week, the approach to this one was soft and subtle to build tone and texture with one very transparent loose color and slowly get the tone versus some of my other work where I can ram those colors and tones in quick and get to the end result fast. Eagles tend not to look very good that way. They look super cartoony. Not that I'm saying this is photorealistic, but this is more close to realism than, say, this skull is. So this skull is cool, but it's not a photorealistic skull. It's a cool skull. Cool lines, cool shading, very dramatic and bold. This is not a photorealistic eagle, but it's not stylized to this degree. So it's more of a natural, you know, I kind of call this stylized realism. That's always been my thing. I'm not a photorealistic painter, nor have I claimed to be, but this style tends to really, this is my sweet, this is where I like to be, right here. Need to hit the siren. Thanks, Michael. I want to thank all you guys for popping in tonight. Thank you for bearing with my cough at the beginning. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. It got better. Sometimes the tone of my voice just where, and I think I can't eat right before a feed, really. It just sits in my throat. So, that being said, thanks for popping in this week. Thank you for checking out this Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks of the Eagle Black and White. More of an exercise in freehand control, erasing, and very light tonal of one color, like building soft and slow. Slow and steady wins the race in this case instead of like harsh and fast. So I really am glad you guys had a good one. Good lesson. I will finish this in an overtime in the next coming days. I'll make an announcement and hope everyone has an awesome Labor Day weekend. Take some time with the family, relax a little bit, recoup, recharge your batteries. Fall's coming, and we're up here in the Northeast, so fall means winter, so we're starting to head towards that direction. But the good news is we're starting to prep for SEMA. We're starting to get ready for SEMA. So if you guys are going to be out at SEMA, make sure you start booking your trips and get ready because we're going to do that kickoff party. We're going to raise a lot of money for kids with cancer and help them out. And we're going to have a damn good time doing it and see a lot of good friends and family and toast to a lot of good friends who are no longer with us. So thank you for all popping in tonight. Make sure you subscribe and join. Hit that like button. Share this with others. Become a member, get some discounts, and get ahead of everyone else. And we got some more stuff planned for the upcoming months. So become a Down Dirty Trickster, join up, and we will see you guys on the next feed, in this case in overtime. Thanks all.